Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Let me ask you something. If you delete a file from your computer, do you really think it's gone? You drag it to the recycle bin. You empty the bin. Maybe you even press Shift and delete. And then you think, okay, it's gone forever. But here's the interesting part. Sometimes, that deleted file is still sitting on your storage drive. You just can't see it anymore. And that raises a much bigger question. If a file is deleted, how can digital forensic investigators sometimes recover it? Today, we're going to break down exactly how this works in simple language. You'll learn what actually happens when you delete a file, why deleted data can sometimes be recovered, what digital forensic investigators look for, why recovery doesn't always work, and what you can do to protect your own data. And stay until the end, because we're also going to talk about something that completely changes the game: modern SSDs. Let's start with a simple example. Imagine your computer is like a huge library. Every file you have is like a book. Your photos are books. Your videos are books. Your documents are books. And your operating system keeps a catalog telling the computer where those books are located. Now imagine you delete one of those files. What do you think happens? The computer doesn't necessarily walk into the library, find the book, and burn it. Instead, it may simply remove the information that says, "This book is here." The space where that file was stored can then be marked as available for new data. And this is where things get interesting. The file may no longer appear in File Explorer. You can't open it normally. But some of the actual data may still remain on the storage device until something else overwrites that space. Think about it like this. You erase someone's name from a whiteboard. The name disappears. But if you look closely, you might still see some traces. That's roughly the idea behind deleted data. But there's an important difference. A computer doesn't work exactly like a whiteboard. It works with data structures, file systems, storage blocks, and metadata. And digital forensics is the process of carefully examining those traces. So imagine there's an investigation. Let's say someone had an important document on their computer. Later, the document is deleted. The person empties the recycle bin and assumes nobody can ever find it again. But investigators aren't necessarily looking for the file in the normal way you would. They're looking at the underlying storage. They're asking questions like, where was this file stored? What information about the file still exists? Has that storage space been reused? Are there fragments of the original data? Are there copies somewhere else? And sometimes, those questions can reveal much more than the user expected. Now let's talk about what actually happens when you delete a file. When you create a file, the operating system needs to keep track of several things. It needs to know the file's name. It needs to know where the file is stored. It needs to know its size. It may also store information such as timestamps and other metadata. When you delete the file, some of that information can be removed or changed. The space can then be considered available for new data. But the actual contents may remain temporarily. This is why forensic software can sometimes recover deleted files. It can examine the storage at a much deeper level than normal file browsing. Instead of asking, "Show me the files that currently exist," forensic tools can examine the underlying data and look for recognizable structures. For example, imagine you deleted a photograph. Even if the file name and normal file listing are gone, parts of the image data might still exist on the drive. A forensic investigator may be able to identify those pieces and reconstruct the file. But here's the important part. Deleted does not mean automatically recoverable. And this is where a lot of people misunderstand digital forensics. Imagine you delete a file. Then you continue using your computer. You download a movie. You install an application. You create new documents. You save more photos. All of this creates new data. Eventually, the computer may use the same storage space where your deleted file was sitting. Once new data overwrites that space, recovering the original file becomes much more difficult. And if enough of the original data has been overwritten, the file may be impossible to recover in a usable form. So time matters. The more you continue using the device after deleting something important, the greater the chance that the storage space could be reused. Now let's take this into a real-life situation. Imagine someone accidentally deletes an important folder containing years of family photos. They panic. Then they make a common mistake. They start downloading recovery programs. They install one. Then another. They start copying files around. They keep using the computer normally. And they don't realize that their recovery attempts could potentially write new data to the same drive. That's why, when important data is accidentally deleted, one of the safest general principles is, stop using the affected storage as much as possible. Don't start randomly installing software on it. Don't keep saving new files to it. And don't assume that running a recovery tool is always harmless. If the data is genuinely important, professional data recovery or forensic assistance may be the safer option. Now here's another interesting question. What about phones? What about messages? What about deleted photos? What about browser history? Digital forensics isn't limited to traditional computer files. Investigators can examine many different sources of digital evidence, depending on the device and circumstances. That can include storage, application data, system information, logs, backups, and other artifacts. And sometimes the information you're looking for isn't even a complete file. It could be a small piece of information that helps explain what happened. For example, imagine someone says, "I never opened that file." A forensic investigation might examine available system or application artifacts that could potentially show activity related to that file. This is why digital forensics is much bigger than simply pressing a Recover Deleted Files button. It's about collecting and interpreting digital evidence. And there's another major piece of the puzzle we need to talk about. SSDs. If your computer uses a modern solid-state drive, deleted data recovery can work very differently. Why? Because of something called trim. Think of trim as a message from the operating system to the SSD saying, "This space is no longer needed." The SSD can then manage those blocks differently as part of its normal operation. The result is that recovering deleted data from an SSD can be much harder than recovering data from some traditional hard drives. And that's why you should never assume, "I deleted it, so it's definitely gone." But you also shouldn't assume, "I deleted it, so someone can definitely recover it." The truth is somewhere in between. Recovery depends on many factors. The type of storage, the operating system, the file system, whether the storage space has been overwritten, whether trim or similar storage management behavior is involved, whether backups exist, and how much usable data remains. So what can you actually do to protect yourself? First, have backups. This sounds boring, but it is one of the most important things you can do. If your important photos and documents exist in only one place, you're taking a risk. A backup gives you another copy if something goes wrong. Second, be careful with sensitive information. Don't store unnecessary personal information everywhere. Third, understand your device's privacy and storage settings. And fourth, if you accidentally delete something extremely important, don't panic and start experimenting. Stop unnecessary activity on that storage and consider getting professional help. And there's one more lesson here. Digital information is surprisingly persistent. We often think of digital data as something that simply exists or doesn't exist. But in reality, there can be layers. A file you can see. Metadata about that file. Application records. Backups. Temporary data. And sometimes remnants of deleted information. That's what makes digital forensics so fascinating. A computer doesn't just tell investigators what is happening right now. Sometimes, the digital traces can help tell the story of what happened before. And that's the bigger takeaway. When you click delete, you're not necessarily pressing a magical button that instantly destroys every piece of information. You're telling the system that the data is no longer needed in the normal way. What happens after that depends on the technology, the storage device, and what happens to that space afterward. So the next time you delete a file, remember, out of sight doesn't always mean completely gone. And if you ever accidentally delete something important, don't immediately panic. Stop using the affected storage, avoid making unnecessary changes, check your backups, and get professional help if the data is truly valuable. Now I'm curious about you. Have you ever accidentally deleted an important photo, document, or file and thought it was gone forever? Tell me your story in the comments. And don't just leave your comment and disappear. Read what other people are sharing. Reply to someone. Share your own experience. Maybe you'll discover that someone else had the exact same problem you did. Let's use the comments to help each other, exchange useful tips, make new friends, and build a community where technology feels a little less confusing. And if there's a specific technology problem you've been struggling with, tell me about it. I personally read the comments, and I'll do my best to reply to your concerns. Because this channel isn't just about technology. It's about understanding technology and using that knowledge to make real people's lives a little easier. If you found this video helpful, hit like and subscribe to IQ Tech Nova for more tech tips.